Hello everybody, today we start a very small unit that deals with the equation of lines, and today I can find the slope and y-intercept of a line by putting it into y equals mx plus b form and understanding that the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. So basically my standard form for the equation of a line, and you should have seen this before, is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So let's go over a couple of really quick, easy questions before we get into the ones in the actual worksheet. So let's do a couple little bonus examples here. Y equals 2x plus 4. So whatever's in front of the x, being how it's y equals mx plus b form, whatever's in front of the x is your m, and your b is whatever comes at the end. So in this case, your b is 4. And that's it. Y equals 1/2 x minus 7. I know my standard form is y equals mx plus b. So whatever's in front of the x is m, my slope. My slope is 1/2. My b is what comes at the end. My b in this case is -7. So now we're going to take a look at the examples on the worksheet in just a moment. All right, so number 1. My first step, is this in y equals mx plus b form? Yes. Y is by itself. The x is written first. The constant term is written at the end. So m is whatever is in front of the x. So in this case, m is 1. B is whatever comes at the end. B is -4. That's it. So my slope is m, which is 1. And my y-intercept is b, which is -4. That's a little sloppy. -4. Number 2, is this in y equals mx plus b form? No. So to put into y equals mx plus b form, let's just kind of put some notes on this here. We're basically doing the rules of algebra. To put into y equals mx plus b form, I mean, we're following the steps of algebra, but for the most part, let me just say it this way. To isolate y, we add or subtract first, we divide last. And these are the same rules of isolating we've been doing since 7th grade. You may need to get rid of parentheses and some other stuff here, but the main thing, you're isolating y, you're always adding or subtracting first or dividing last. So in this example, this is not in y equals mx plus b form because y is not by itself. So to get y by itself, I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. I can't combine unlike terms. X minus 2 is x minus 2. Now I'm in y equals mx plus b form. So m, the slope, is what's in front of the x. So in this case, m is 1. B, my y-intercept, is -2. Again, slope is m. Y-intercept is b. Number 3, y is by itself, but it's not in y equals mx plus b form because I have parentheses. Well, again, this is just 7th grade algebra. To get rid of the parentheses, I distribute. And now that I have y by itself and it's in y equals mx plus b form, I want you to take about 10 seconds and tell me what the slope and the y-intercept is. Y equals mx plus b. My m is 3. My y-intercept, my b, is -3. And that's it. Number 4, is y by itself? No. To get y by itself, I have to divide by 2. I'm not subtracting because there's no plus or minus with the y. I'm dividing by 2, and I divide the entire side by 2. So 4x divided by 2 is 2x. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Now I'm in y equals mx plus b form. I want you to take 10 seconds or so and write down your m, your slope, and your b, your y-intercept. My slope is 2. My y-intercept is 3. Now number 5, y is by itself, but it's not in y equals mx plus b form because I need the x to come first and the constant to come last. So all I need to do here is just rewrite it. And when I rewrite it, I want to make sure I keep the sign to the left of the term. So if I want the x to come first because there's a net minus in front of it, it's negative x. The 7 is positive, so I write plus 7. Now that I'm in y equals mx plus b form, why don't you take again 10 seconds and tell me what the slope is and what the y-intercept is. Okay, the slope is what's in front of the x, which is negative 1. The y-intercept is 7. All right, let's get into ones that are a little bit more algebra. Number 8, is this in y equals mx plus b form? Is y by itself? No. To get it into y equals mx plus b form, to isolate y, we add or subtract first, we divide last. So I'm looking for a plus or a minus sign. Do I see a plus or a minus sign? Yes, I see a minus 8x. So the first thing I do to get y by itself is I add 8x to both sides. I can't combine unlike terms, and I want to always write the x term first. So I write 8x minus 4. I divide last. To get y by itself, I now need to divide by 2. I divide the whole side by 2, so 8x divided by 2 is 4x. 4 over 2 is 2. Now that I have that, I can list my slope and y-intercepts. Slope is what's in front of the x. M is 4. B is what comes at the end. My y-intercept is negative 2. Oops, this thing is freezing a little bit, so let me try and get out of it and pause before. Okay, let's take a look at number 11. So the first thing I need to do here is get rid of those parentheses in order to get it into y equals mx plus b form. So I'm going to get 3x minus 6 equals 2y. And now, to get y by itself, I'm going to divide. So here's what's new for this example. If it does not divide nicely, leave it as a fraction. So if I want to do 3 over 2, I leave that as 3 over 2x. If they don't divide nicely, leave it as a fraction. 6 over 2 is 3. Those do divide nicely, so divide them. So let's just rewrite that with y first. Y equals 3 halves x minus 3. So y equals mx plus b. My slope is 3 halves, and my y-intercept is negative 3. So you have to get it into slope-intercept form. You have to get everything away from the y, and if when you divide, if they don't divide nicely, leave it as a fraction. So 13 is as hard as it'll get. So I'm going to go over 13, and then I think I'll let you kind of practice on your own after that. Is y by itself? No. When I'm isolating, I add or subtract first, I divide last. So I'm going to subtract 5x because it's being added to the 2y. I always add or subtract first when I'm isolating. Now I can't combine these because they're not like terms, but since I want it in y equals mx plus b form, I want the x term first. The x term is negative 5x. It's a positive 7, so I write it as negative 5x plus 7. Is y by itself yet? No, I divide last. And again, I mentioned it before, we add or subtract first, divide last, and that's how you've been isolating going back to to 7th grade. If it doesn't divide nicely, leave it as a fraction. Negative 5 over 2 is negative 5 over 2 x plus 7 over 2. If they don't divide nicely, you leave it as 7 over 2. The slope is negative 5 over 2. The y-intercept is 7 over 2. That's all I'm going to do for you. Your classwork/homework is going to be to finish this. This is something that is really the foundation for this unit, so I want to make sure, to be honest, a lot of times, in the past, I didn't teach this lesson. It's something that you've done in the past, but I found that later on in the unit, if you're not comfortable with this, it really start to have some issues, so that's why we're spending some time on this now. I can find slope and y-intercept of a line by putting it into y equals mx plus b form and understanding that the m is the slope and the b is the y-intercept. And to get it into mx plus b form, to isolate y, we're always adding or subtracting first and dividing last. Again, when you divide, if they do not divide nicely, then you leave them as a fraction. 3 over 2, I leave as 3 over 2. Your classwork/homework is to finish this. I hope everybody has a great day.